This tutorial is our first time playing with Illustrator. So for this tutorial, we're going to manipulate text to follow a path, and then eventually we'll show you how to use auto trace to vectorize artwork and prepare your image for laser engraving. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, I'm going to open up Illustrator, and when I do, I'm going to create a new document. In here, I'm not going to use any of the templates that are already here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new document over here. So I'm going to set my width to 3.5 inches, and I'm going to set my height to 3.5 inches. The coasters are approximately 4 inches by 4 inches. So this gives us about a 1/4 inch margin all the way around. So that way we don't try to laser engrave into the kind of the roughened edge. I want to make sure that my units is set to inches. Okay. And we're going to give it a name, poster art demo. Okay. So I'm going to hit create. That's going to create a new blank document. Now, when you get in here, yours probably looks a little bit different than mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to set up your layout. So you're using the same workspace that I am. So we're going to come up here and I'm going to click on switch workspace and I'm going to come down to Essentials Classic. So if you hit Essentials Classic, it should reset all of your tools on your tool palette, all right, to this orientation. And then your palettes and panels are all over here. They're probably minimized like mine are. So the next thing I want to do is I want to come over here and I want to expand my properties palette. I'll be using that a little bit. So that should have you set up the same way I have mine. So after that, we're going to start by generating some paths. All right, now what makes Illustrator unique is everything is saved based on its math, if you will. So it's based on the shape that you're drawing, not necessarily a grid of pixels getting painted in. So under my rectangle tool, if I click and hold, I could see that I have the ellipse tool. So I'm going to go to my ellipse tool. Now, an ellipse is a fancy word for an oval. All right. If I click and drag, I can drag out ovals all day. All right. There is a special type of oval where both the height and width are the same size. So if I hold down the shift key while I'm dragging it out, you'll see I get this fancy oval that we just call circle. Okay, now I could continue to drag it out to whatever size I want, but I'm really going to do this by the numbers. All right, so I'm going to key in the values that I want. In this case, I have my circle. I'm going to come over here to the width and height that are in my properties palette, and I'm going to change this to 3 inches by 3 inches. Um, nope, and again, 3 inches. Okay, you'll notice the other one automatically changed to 3 inches, and that's because these two are linked in proportion to one another. So this chain link is active. If I unlink them, all right, then I can change them independent. So let's say I wanted one to be 3 inches, I want the other to be 2 inches. Okay, in this case, I want them to both be the same. So I'm going to set it back to 3 inches, and I'm going to relink them. All right, now next thing I want to do is I want to arrange this so it's in the middle of my artboard. So if you look down here, I have these alignment options. Okay, because there are no other objects selected, I only have a single object selected. The default is to align to artboard, which is what I want. Okay, I'm going to align it to the center vertically, and I'm going to align it to the middle horizontally. So now I have it perfectly centered in both directions on my artboard. And now what I want to do is I want to add text to this circle. All right, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click and hold on my text tool, just the letter T, and I'm going to come down to where it says type on path. And then I'm going to go to top dead center and I'm going to click on the path. You'll notice it just generates some random auto text. Okay, and then we can just start typing. So in this case, I'm going to start with class of, I'm going to do I'm going to do mine in all caps. All right. You'll notice it's not quite centered. All right. So I'm going to come down to my paragraph in the properties panel and I'm going to align that to center. And now it's down here way at the bottom. All right, so the easiest way for me to move this around and manipulate it on this where I want it on this path is to come up here to my direct selection tool, which is the white arrow tool. When I do, I see all these handles pop up, okay, including the center of my text. So if I click on this blue line or this blue segment that's sticking out here, I can flip it around and I can drag it up to the top. Okay, and you'll notice I have smart guides turned on. So when I get in line with the center of the circle, All right, it automatically snaps out that pink line for me, letting me know if I let go of it, I'm centered to the, I've now centered my text to the middle of the circle. Okay. So next thing I want to do is I can set it up so that my text is above the line, below the line, or centered on the line. All right. So what I'm going to do with it still selected, I'm going to go to my type menu. I'm going to go down here to type on path, and I'm going to go type on path options. That's going to give me this panel. Okay. Check off the preview button so that way as you make changes, you'll see them take effect. Okay. And my align to path is what I want in here. So I can go by ascender, which means it's fully under the line. I can go by descender, which means it's fully above the line, or I can go by center. Okay. In my case, I'm going to use alignment align to path by center. And then I'm going to click OK. So I've got the class of, if we go back to the demo that I created, you'll see I have class of on top, I have River Tech Magnet School on the bottom, and I have the year of graduation. So let's go back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select this now with my regular selection tool, the black arrow. All right. So now that I have the black arrow, I'm going to go to copy and paste on my keyboard. So I'm on a Mac, it's Command C. For you, it's going to be Control C and then Control V to paste. All right. So you now see I have this duplicate. I'm going to use my arrow keys to just nudge it down a little bit. All right. If you hold down the Shift key as you're nudging things around, it takes larger jumps. All right. If you don't, then you're just clicking multiple times. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to my direct selection tool, the white arrow. I'm going to grab this line and I'm going to swing this down to the bottom and snap it to the middle. You can see again, I've got that pink guide. Let me know when I've got it aligned to the middle. So now I'm going to go back to my selection tool and I'm going to shift this back up. All right. Now, I don't want class solve on both lines. If you look over here, you'll see I had class solve on top and River Tech Magnet School on the bottom. So I'm going to come in here. And if I triple click, it usually lets me get into my text. Okay. So now I can edit it. And again, I'm going to use all caps. All right. So that's how we do text on a path. And we can use that for text on any path. So if I started using the pen tool, for instance, and I drew a line that was some crazy weird contour. All right. I can do the same thing. I can go to my text tool, go to text on path. And as soon as I click on that path, it no longer becomes a shape, it becomes a text path. All right, and you'll see how my text follows that shape. All right. So any path you can draw in here, whether it's organic or geometric, right? I can add text to, which is cool. So now what I want to do is I'm gonna add text in the middle. In this case, there's two ways you can use the regular text tool. I can either type down and start typing, or I can click and drag a box. What I don't want to do is I don't want to click and drag a box. If I click and drag a box, then what it's going to do is it's going to constrain my text to fit inside that box at all times. And if I go to change the size of that box, it's just going to open it up so I can fit more text. It's not going to resize the text. All right. So when I click and drag with the text tool, I get a text box, not what I want. So I'm going to hit delete on my keyboard. If I go to my text tool and I simply click down, it places just text, not a box, and I can then use my selection tool to resize it however I want. You'll notice I can stretch it, okay, in all directions. If I hold down my shift key, it resizes it proportionally as I stretch it out. All right, in this case, we're going to do 29. All right, and then go to my selection tool and I'm going to stretch it out. All right, now I want to center this up. Since this is the only thing selected, I'm going to align to artboard. I'm going to center and center. And now if I hold down on the Mac, it's the Option key. I believe it's the Alt key on the Windows PC. If I hold that down, then I can stretch it from the center out, and it scales in both directions. All right. If I hold down my Shift key while I do it, it scales proportionally. All right. So now what do I have left? Well, I want to play with the size of my text and I want to play with the font. All right. So in this case, for the 29, I want to change that to a different font. I'm going to use Varsity Regular. Okay. And you can use whatever font you've got, whatever font you want. All right. Once I change the font, you'll notice it's become quite a bit bigger. So I might end up scaling it back down in size. I'm going to select both of my text objects at the top and bottom. So make sure I have both of those selected, hopefully. There we go. And I'm going to change the font on here to Arial Black. The reason I'm using Arial Black is because it's a font that can be found on both computers, whether you're on a Mac or a PC. And while it's still selected, I can bump the text size up right here, and you'll notice it continues to follow. Right now, what you might notice is while the river tech at the bottom is perfectly centered, all right, um, it is not optically centered, right? So it looks like the R is a little bit closer to the midpoint of the circle over here than the L is. And that's just because of the L has this empty negative space right here. So what I could do is I can grab my direct selection tool and I can grab this and I can just use that to slightly shift my text, just like that. All right. So it looks a little bit more centered. All right. If I zoom in, okay. All right. If you hold down the Alt key and scroll forward, you can zoom in. All right. Then you can get slightly more precise movements. All right. Control 0 is zoom to fit. All right. So now I've got that a little bit more optically centered. So I've taken into account the fact that there's the negative space here. So I just bumped that a little bit. You'll notice it's overlapping over here. And I mentioned earlier that I might have to rescale this. So I can either move this or scale it. So in this case, I'm going to go to my regular selection tool and I'm going to hold down my Option key and I'm sorry, the Alt key on your keyboard and the Shift key. And I'm going to scale this down just a little bit. So I have just a little bit of space there. All right. So that was the first demo. The next demo, I'm going to show you how to use auto trace to bring an image into Illustrator and then use auto trace to vectorize it. Okay. Last thing I want to note is that everything here is in black and white. And that means it's got a high level of contrast and it's going to laser well for anything we want to put it on. All right. All right. So go ahead to the next one and we'll show you how to use auto trace.